Facebook ads have a little bit of flexibility to a degree because they do not require keywords, really. Like with Google, the thing is keyword, keyword, keyword. So you bid on keywords. You want keywords in your title. You want keywords in your ad copy. You want keywords in your, the visible URL there. All that kind of stuff. With Facebook, not really a big deal. Okay, but you don't have a whole lot of real estate. So that means you need to focus, really think through your ads and make sure that they are powerful, that they have a strong impact. Plan your headlines. If you ask any newspaper reporter or editor, they're going to tell you that the headline is probably the most important part of a story, because that's going to be what people decide whether they want to read the story or not. It's based on the headline. Use a thesaurus. If there are, words that you want to use that are maybe too long, they take up too many characters, or you can't think of maybe exactly the right word, you want something that is a little bit stronger, you look for synonyms. Use your thesaurus and grab some synonyms. Keep things simple. You've got, 25 characters to work with here on the headline. So that's not a whole lot of space to get, wicked creative. But what you want to do is be very straightforward and tell the viewers what it is that really should excite them and make them want to read that the rest of that copy. Maybe ask a question. Facebook ads are not keyword dependent, right? So, if you don't want to do a newspaper type headline, maybe you can ask them a question in the headline, and that question will prompt them. If you target it right, that question is going to be something that, for example, let me give you an example. Let's say you're going to target the guitar players. You might ask the question, do you make these, come up with a number, do you make these 7 guitar sins? Something like that, so that if you know that they're interested in it anyway, they're into guitar stuff, just provoke their curiosity. Use words that sell. The word free, the word discount, things like that catch people's attention. Save is another good one. Act now, that's another one. New is a lot of times a good catchy headline. Use headlines that are going to start the selling process. So declarative phrases can work extremely well here if they're nice, short, and punchy. We want to create a good environment, so the graphics that you use can be very, very important. Right after the headline, this is probably number 2, is that graphic needs to make an impact. It's not just for branding, right? You don't just put your logo there. Maybe, you can do an ad without an image if you want to, but having that image is going to, get you better results guaranteed. Obviously, having, a professional photographer create an image of your product is going to be the best solution. If you can't do that, grab your camera and do the best that you can. But you want to have a good quality image for your ad. A lot of times having people in the picture sells very well because it is a little bit more personal. Okay? Now, it has to be relevant. You don't put a picture of a woman in a bikini just to grab attention, and the product has nothing to do with that. It's like a shaving cream or something. You need to have it relevant, because remember, Facebook is social oriented. It's a community. The images need to be simple. They don't allow a whole lot of space for you anyway, and you're not going to be, it's a fairly small little thumbnail, so if you clutter it up, then you're not going to convey a message. So focus on one thing that you want to get across. Definitely do use color. We want the image to be very colorful. That tends to draw the user's eyes, and it can also help them be a little more interested in it once they actually see it. And just a reminder here that images are sales tools. So selecting the right kind of image can actually mean making more conversions. If you were in a political campaign and you were marketing a politician, you're probably going to put a picture of them in it, like a headshot kind of thing. You wouldn't take a picture of them when they first wake up and get out of bed, right? You take a picture of them once they're ready for the day. That's the same kind of thing. You want to put whatever products or services or whatever you're offering, put them in their best light. Now let me give you some tips. I happen to be an amateur photographer, so I do this kind of thing quite a bit, and I teach on Photoshop. So I know a little bit about this kind of stuff, and I will give you some tips. Crop things nice and close. What that means is you want to make it kind of tight so that the image itself, the product or whatever it is that you're trying to highlight, is as big as it possibly can. And a lot of times what photographers do, if you want to do a nice shot of a person, you don't necessarily do their whole entire head. You might crop it in real tight where it's just like, their eyes, from their eyes down to their mouth, and the rest of it is just completely filling up the space that you have there. Remove any obstructions. All that means is look through the camera at what it is you're going to take a picture of. Is there anything in the picture that does not need to be there? Okay, is there anything that the picture would look better without? That's kind of one of the big differences between a pro photographer and an amateur photographer, is the amateur photographer is just taking snapshots of whatever's there. The pro photographer looks at the scene and says, hey, you know what? That pen that's on the floor right there, that doesn't need to be there. Let's get rid of it. Lighting is also something that's very important. You want to, a lot of times people need to shoot inside. Very good, but try to make sure that you've got, good lighting. Maybe if you have a small product that you're taking a picture of, take it near a window that gets some sunlight. And this is a little trick, by the way. If you have some shears that go over the window, a lot of times if it's a bright sunny day, those shears can actually diffuse the light, give you a very nice natural lighting. But lighting is very important. If you make sure that everything is well lit, you get a nice clear shot and it looks aesthetically pleasing. Shoot a lot of pictures too. Once you get the scene, the lighting, everything is just right. If you're doing a person or a product or whatever, shoot lots and lots and lots of pictures, because that, gives you a lot to choose from, and maybe one just turns out beautiful. And that's another secret about photography too. Photographers do not, you see in a magazine, picture of a woman on the front page, right? They took like 50 or 100 shots and they just picked the best one. If you're not a professional photographer, you want to get the best results that you possibly can. That means think about the shot itself. You don't just do, point, shoot, click, I'm done. Is there some kind of background that would help enhance the product, make it stand out a little bit more? Is this background too busy and it distracts from the product? Or is this background too simple? Or is it just right? All that kind of stuff needs to be thought through. What angle is going to be best? You can use, if you want to change backgrounds, a little trick here. You can go to a hobby store and get those big sheets of paper, and a lot of times they have colored paper. And you can take that paper and you can kind of prop it up against a wall, let the paper come down and curl on the floor, and then place your product right on the floor there on the paper. What that'll give you is like a seamless background where you can't see the background with a nice complementary color and the proper lighting. That looks like a professional shot. You need to be very picky. You want to shoot a lot of pictures, and you want to make sure that you pick the best. The nice thing about digital photography, folks, is this. it doesn't cost you anything to shoot 100 photos. You know, back in the day, they had to be careful because they had real film to deal with. But now, just shoot as many as you want. If you don't like what you got, then go back to the drawing board. Shoot again. Facebook rules, you got to keep these in the back of your mind. The landing pages, the ad copy, all that kind of stuff has to meet Facebook's requirements, and so do images that you use. You want to make sure they're not offensive or racy or anything like that. And then we've also got clarity. If you've got images that are blurry, or they're too cluttered, or they're dark, they didn't turn out, the exposure wasn't good, don't even consider using them. Okay, you want nice, sharp, clear, clean, professional looking images.